Merge parameters can be used to customize different email templates that you have and make your emails more engaged. I think we can all agree that having an email that says, "Hi, Michelle," or "Hi, Jeremy," is a lot more engaging than just "hello" or "hi there" or "hey." So the way that you can do that within Iterable is through merge parameters, and that's just referencing anything on the user profile in double braces or curly brackets, or if you're using a data feed, that would be in the square bracket. So you can reference anything on the user profile. Most of the time, you'll be referencing the available user field, so anything that falls under here. The most common ones that we see are first name or city or things like that, but any field that you include within this area, you can include in a template and reference through the double braces. If you're sending data fields through an event, the only way you can reference that is through a workflow triggered template. You can't reference any event fields on a regular blast template or anything like that because a blast isn't going to be triggered by an event. So you can only do that really through workflow triggered campaigns. So this is pretty much what we use merge parameters for, and it's really great because you can customize it and make it a little bit more engaging to the user. You can also reference things like Iterable specific fields, including view and browser URL or unsubscribe links or things like that if you'd like in your templates to make things a little bit easier so you don't have to build it out yourself every time. So I'm going to go into a template that we've created and give you a little bit of an idea of what you can do here. So we've built out this template just for time's sake. Oh, and if you have any questions, please feel free to chat us in. We'll respond and we'll repeat the question as well for everyone. Moving back to this is our template. We created this to give you an idea of the things that you can do with merge parameters. So within Iterable, you can use different handlebars logic in order to customize your message. So you'll see here that we have our most popular question, which is hi if first name, give them the first name and capitalize it, or if they don't have a first name on their user profile, then say there. And then we close that. So that's kind of an example, the very beginner's basic example of a handlebars helper. You can edit a merge parameter or add a merge parameter directly into the template just by doing double curly brace, and then you can select whichever fields pop down here. So these are going to give you all of the fields that are on the user's profile is in the available user field section. For example, if I wanted to do email, I could say email, thanks for joining, and then include the email here if I wanted to do that. So because it populates, you can choose anything that you'd like. You can also edit the source code directly and include it here as well. So I think we've included it here. So you'll notice here that you can see it in the source code. You can also comment it out. So you can do something like this, which we actually kind of recommend commenting out the handlebars logic if you're working directly in the source code. That's just going to help make things a little bit easier to work with. So this is something you would do if you'd like. First name, and then close that out. So you can comment it in there directly, or let me move that. But you can comment it out there, or you can add it directly in here. So another thing you can do, we have a whole support article on the different helpers that we support and that you can use in your templates, and one of them is if MatchesRegex. So if you've never really worked in regex before, regex is a very particular way to find exactly what you're looking for. Regex is space and case sensitive, so that's why we have all these different things that we're looking for in this merge parameter. So in this handlebars helper, we're looking to see if a user has a city on their profile. And if they do, we're thinking that there could be different ways that that city would appear on the user profile, which is why we've done something like if the city on the user's profile says SF, or this is what the straight bar symbolizes, we look to see if it's San Francisco capitalized or uncapitalized or not capitalized. So we're checking to see if that exists on their profile. And then if that happens, then we will show them this message and this image. Then we check to see if someone has a San Francisco location, if they also have a recent restaurant review. If that's the case, then we'll show them this message. And we'll show them the review that they posted and their restaurant name as well. We also check to see if their city is New York, another option. So if you have multiple cities that you'd like to use, you can add it directly into the template, or as mentioned earlier, comment it out in the source code as well. If the user has a city of New York in here as well, they would show that too. And then if they don't have anything on their profile that doesn't match any of those, so if the user doesn't have a New York or a San Francisco location on their profile, then we would just show them a general message. That's something you can do. And basically based on how you bracket nest the handlebars helpers together, that's going to impact how that appears to the user and on the email. Another thing you can do with merge parameters is also reference them in the subject line. So you could do something like first name, you can use this in the subject line or in the pre-header text. You can also do it within, the template itself or the source code. You can also do iterable specific fields, which we mentioned a little bit earlier. And if this is a marketing email, you could include the unsubscribe URL, or if you're using your own preference center, you can use your hosted unsubscribe URL, and that's going to populate here. We're just going to use the unsubscribe URL. You'd probably want to do something like unsubscribe here. And then if you're using the merge parameter of unsubscribe URL, you're going to probably want to link it through. That's just going to be a little bit cleaner. So then once we have that, you can also preview with data. That's going to be the easiest way to figure out how your template is going to look, how it's going to be customized to the user. So it looks like I already have a user loaded, but let's just reload that. So because I don't have a city on my profile right here, it's not going to give me anything or any pictures like San Francisco or New York because I don't have those cities on my profile. If I were to add something like San Francisco here and do that, it's going to show me the picture that I have for that in the template, and it's going to post a review because I have a recent restaurant review because it's nested within San Francisco. So that's another way we can do that. There's also, if a user has a city on that as well, a different city, it's going to show a different picture. So you have that here as well. So let me save the template really quickly, and we can check out what the new template looks like with the unsubscribe URL too. So I added that unsubscribe URL merge parameter here at the bottom, and I linked it. So if I clicked that, it's going to take me to our unsubscribe page. So that's another merge parameter that we have that you can use. That's the basic one that we include. It's an iterable specific field, and it's really useful if you don't want to create your own unsubscribe block or want to create a very simple one. So overall, this page is really helpful because you can edit this source code depending on what you'd like. So let's say I wanted to see what Jeremy's would look like if I wanted to see if there was a different city, or use San Francisco as an example again. His shows the picture, but because he doesn't have a recent review on his profile, it doesn't show the other review option that we have. So you can edit this page as well in this source code area in this coding section, so that you can change how your template is going to look and preview that information as well. If you want to send it to yourself, you can do that as well. You can cache this information on this page and then send it to yourself via proof. If you say send proof to yourself, it's going to cache the data on the preview with data page and send you that user's information too. And we also have a support documentation on Handlebars helpers so that you can kind of customize your emails as well. We have a wide variety of them. So if you just go to our support.iterable.com handlebars.com page, and you just type in handlebars. I think we've already shared this with you, but if not, you can always just look into the support documentation page as well. These are all of the handlebars that we support and the merge parameters, and we give you examples of the things that you can do with them. So it's really useful, and we also include this if you're ever interested in the first name handlebars helper. That's the most common one we get, so you can check that out here. And then we also give you the different handlebars that you can use, which are if true and false. We also have ones for lists and arrays. We didn't go into that for this session, but if you're interested, we can, and we can create one that specifically focuses on arrays. But these are all of the handlebars helpers that we support, and you can always play around with them to figure out what it is that you want to do and figure out how best to create that in your template. So we have a question. Someone on this call is asking, what if instead of null for first name, it's filled in as unknown? So if that's the case, okay, so if it's a string unknown, then it's going to show those values. But if it doesn't exist completely, it's not going to appear within the template or appear as that user, and it's going to default to whatever you set as else. Any other questions? So we got another question that says, can you put styling outside the handlebars to format merged fields? You can definitely do that. We've actually kind of done that within our template as well. So if you look within our template, okay. So for example, we have these stylings prior to the prior to the handlebars logic. So you can change this, and it's going to change whatever's in how it appears in the template. So as you can see here, we've added some stylings prior to the handlebars and before that to change how it's going to look. So it's not the prettiest right now, but you can change it and change the formatting of that and the stylings as well so that it impacts how it's going to appear. You can also, if you've noticed, let me change that back to 16. You'll notice that within this handlebar specifically, we've capitalized first name. If the first name on the user profile isn't capitalized, then it's not going to appear like that. It's just going to be something like Michelle undercased or lowercase. But because we've specified that we want to capitalize it, it's going to capitalize the name. So that's another way you can do that specifically for the first name section. Any other questions? Those are all really great questions. And if you have any more, we're going to be online for a couple of more minutes and we can answer that. We hope this was really helpful for you. It was a very brief overview of what you can do with handlebars logic. We are hoping to go a little bit more into detail within each specific handlebars helper because there are just so many. So if you have any ideas specifically on what we should cover for these helpers, do let us know. Or if you have another office hours topic that you'd like us to cover as well, we're happy to take that into consideration when we plan. Our office hours are every month, so if you feel like these are really helpful and you'd like more, we would definitely take that into consideration as well. So we also got another question just now asking if we could include merge parameters in the to field of the emails. That's another option that you can do within. For that, you would just go to the project settings page, open that up. You can change the first name field to personalize a user's to email through here. So you would just include the merge parameter here, and you wouldn't want to add curly braces here because it's just going to do that automatically. You can just leave first name here or whatever it is that you use to recognize a user's first name here. And then once you have that, you would just save it and you wouldn't need to include it in every email template. It's going to default that because it's a project-wide setting. So that's another way that you can customize emails and make it more dynamic and relatable to the user. So someone asked, is there a way to merge first name into the to field? And is this a way that it could help with deliverability? It is. You would include the first name here or whatever field. If you reference first name as that, you as first underscore name, that's what you would do. And the way that it would appear on the template or to the user would be their name or whatever you recognize as their name, and then their email as well. Great question there. Okay, so that's pretty much all we had planned for today. If you have any other questions about merge parameters or handlebars helpers, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd be happy to help. Email us directly at support@iterable.com, or you can reach out directly to your account manager. But let us know if you have any questions or concerns about this. And thank you all for joining so much. We really appreciate it. Have a great day.